Yo, what up, Street Talks there, Kim? Alright, so this is a fairly controversial point. So this point is this: only do what you want to do and don't do nothing you don't want to do. So the thought is, there's like a quadrillion people on planet Earth, and there's so much division of labor now that you technically don't need to grow your own quinoa. You don't gotta butcher your own meat. There's so many different things that you don't need to do in modern life, yet you're somehow moralized into thinking you got to do it yourself. And my personal thought is, the best way to extract the maximum amount of existence is for you to only pursue what you care for and don't pursue anything you don't care for. And the reason why this is such an effective strategy is that if you're only pursuing what you care for and you don't pursue what you don't care for, then typically anything that you do and you pursue will just kind of be better. And the more you care about striving to please others, the less likely you're actually to make something that actually sticks. Because what your goal is as an artist, you're trying to create non-perishable works. Typically, if you create artworks that you're genuinely interested in and you genuinely like, is like less likely to perish. So one of the best ways to do this then is use your own inner, essentially BS detector or whatever, to only work on things that you personally care for. This means if something is not that, so like for example in photography, if something is not that interesting to you, don't photograph it or record it. Whereas if something is interesting to you or whatever, then I think it's worthwhile to record, capture, and create. Same thing with movies, like movies or any form of external media, whether it be audio, visual, books, whatever. I don't really believe in highbrow or lowbrow art. It's just like, is it interesting to you or is it not interesting to you? So for example, at this point, I cannot really read any modern books. It's that they're just not that interesting to me. It's kind of like a little bit boring to me, whereas I read texts which are a little bit more difficult, like, you know, the obscure sayings of these ancient Greek, Latin philosophers, much more interesting to me. Or even with rap music. A lot of the modern rap music, it's just not very interesting to me. I'm actually far more interested in, you know, reading the poetry of Horace, like and stuff like that. And so, but you know, sometimes also like, you know, I'll read a People magazine. Could be far more interesting than any sort of like pseudo intellectual stuff that you'll read in the New York Times or the New Yorker. And so I feel like that's why things shouldn't be so moralized in terms of what we document and capture. So it just has to be interesting to you. And what is interesting to you, what isn't interesting to you, it just comes down to your personal taste. So for example, I personally like really light espresso that's very bright and fruity, preferably Ethiopia. But obviously not everyone likes that. Some people like their, you know, super dark Folgers roast in the tub. And if people like it, it's like, yo, who am I to tell you that that's not legitimate? I'm just like, hey, yo, buddy, you might want to try this because it's so awesome for me and it brings me great joy. It may or may not be nice to you, but at least I want to kind of give you the option. Now, the big problem about a lot of these losers nowadays, Nassim Taleb calls them intellectual yet idiots. I call them intellectuals yet losers. IYL is that okay, this is what I think. A lot of these intellectuals who tell us what to do, what to eat, what not to eat, what to think, what not to think, and they try to act like Big Brother or the thought police to us, is that they were probably at what time a nerd or bullied in school, and their way of getting revenge on others is to superimpose their own personal beliefs onto others rather than allowing others to have their own thoughts, right? Like, consider, if you grew up like kind of a weak, scrawny kid and you got bullied, you know, you can't fight back physically, but how do you fight back, like, mentally? So you end up, you know, devising all these, you end up maybe being good in school and stuff like that, and then in order to get all the girls in school, maybe the way you could get girls in school is that you think by your smartness you could pick up the ladies, right? So that seems to be one strategy. But yeah, it seems that, you know, most people I know who try to superimpose their own values on others tend to just be kind of like insecure, and they need everyone to follow their beliefs in order for them to rectify or justify their own personal beliefs, which is, to me, silly. It's like, if anything, we should almost have the exact opposite pride, where your values and your virtues are your own, and when you see others doing as you do, you actually lose a little bit of self-respect for yourself, maybe. If, like, for example, for me, whenever I start doing things where I see everyone else is doing it, or if I'm talking like others or dressing like others or listening to the same music as others, it actually hurts my pride and my ego, because then I just feel more, I feel a little bit more generic and stuff like that, rather than being a much more unique, interesting individual. So, like, I still remember this one scene where, you know, I typically wear all black everything. I remember I was in like a hipster coffee shop in Berlin. Motherfucker, every fool in that place was wearing all black everything, and I'm like, I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and buy all white everything, or wear clothes don't match, or something like that. So, essentially what I mean to say is, you are your own tastemaker. Create and cultivate your own taste, and certainly you don't need to worry about being like original. It's just like, just be honest with yourself. It's like, do I like it? Do I not like it? And only do what you like, and don't do what you don't like. And even with aesthetics and stuff like that, and this is the reason why I really like this this new cross process look on the Ricoh GR3, is I just kind of like the way it looks. I'm like, it puts me in a good mood and stuff like that. And you know, some people might not like it, but I'm like, that's cool, you know, like, you know, if you're a vegan and I'm a carnivore, yo, I'll respect your decisions, you respect mine, kind of thing. So once again, it's not a zero-sum game in life. Everyone's allowed to do anything they want to do. Life's not a game, it's not a sport. There's no winners or losers. Interesting. Online Sunday and weekday worship on Facebook. Interesting. Kind of an interesting, brave new world we're living in, eh? And I know, like, in terms of like myself, ooh, this nice little garden. Look at Mother Mary chilling in the garden. Oh, really nice garden. I like it. Isn't that a nice flower? Yep, right here would be a good photograph. So I know for myself, how did I personally get corrupted? Like, I think about when I started my, man, it's crazy. I think the first video I uploaded was, you know, I just bought a GoPro and I did the GoPro street photography POV. It's like, I didn't even think about like creating a cool YouTube channel. It was just like, yo, I want to shoot this video, I need somewhere to host it. Oh, there's that YouTube thing. Yeah, I think I can upload it there. And, you know, I've been in the YouTube games for, you know, almost like a decade now, maybe, something like that. And probably much the biggest thing that I personally learned is, you know, just pursue your own interests and don't take it too seriously, and don't worry about being good or professional or something like that. Everything I've created has always been off the cuff. Random, and that seems like it's been working good. All right. Speak to the past and it shall teach thee. That's pretty good. So typically when it comes to life and stuff like that, the more you try to, you know, be good or professional and stuff like that, the less likely you are to actually do something that's interesting and of worth. So yeah, just allow yourself to follow your own curiosity. Don't take none too seriously in life. The more seriously you take things in life, the worse. Kind of like this composition. I like the red there. So like somebody came here or in between here. That'd be good. You got some people coming here. So what you can even do is you can get close here, frame it like that. You see right there. This is the bookend technique, right? There. Yeah, so yeah, taking things a little bit off the cuff, kind of have fun with it, being a little bit random with it, and just walking around and just exploring. Ooh. So the cool thing with this cross-processing thing is that the colors get awesome. It's like, especially with the reds and then the greens, it's just a really nice visual stimulus. And it certainly seems that the more beautiful or the joyful or gleeful looking images you create, the better.